a Dhamma talk, mainly on the basics of Arya discipline and also the pathway to Nibbana. So today also we are going to have a discussion about mainly about the questions which you have sent to the WhatsApp group, and based on that we will find out what missing pieces of the puzzle that we need to have to get the big picture of what we are going to understand, comprehend, to complete our journey towards Nibbana. So to achieve that goal, all the meritorious power that you have generated throughout this sansaric journey may agglomerate together, creating the perfect environment for everyone to grasp the essence of Dhamma, to open up the eyes of wisdom, and also to complete their Arya pathway towards Nibbana. So all the meritorious power which you have generated throughout this sansaric journey may agglomerate together to create the perfect environment for everyone to understand Dhamma and to develop wisdom. Accept this blessing with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And also, let us acknowledge that during this sansaric journey, we might have done various unethical deeds, especially towards sentient beings. But if they were towards Arya individuals or triple gems, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, then that might cover up our Nibbana pathway because of our doings of avidya. So let us acknowledge our faults. This is how we seek forgiveness when it comes to our discipline. We do not look for an apology for something we have done. What is done is already done. But when we acknowledge our faults and when we promise ourselves that we are not going to do that again, that is the real way of seeking forgiveness when it comes to our discipline. So with that in mind, let us seek forgiveness by acknowledging our faults and promising ourselves in front of living supreme Buddhas that we are not going to do those kinds of unethical, unwholesome acts again towards Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and also for any sentient being. With this idea in your mind, recite sadhukara.
sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So today we have got, I think we have got only two questions, and one of the questions were from the last week, which we could not discuss because we ran out of time, and one question was posted during this week. So for today's question, for the first one, we'll get the question which was sent last week. So I'll read the question and then we'll go through the question and answer. So the question goes like this: sentient beings have karma raga because of ignorance. Intention, which includes karma raga, makes a lot of karmic debt. What we do not know, but we do not know that thoroughly. How can we contemplate about sanchetana to understand the process of creating depth thoroughly? So that is the question which was posted last week. So this is a very good question. We need to understand how these depths, the concept of depths, or we can say it's a relationship. So how this concept of relationships come to play when we are looking from a Arya viewpoint, how do you understand this concept? So to understand this concept, we need to understand how the world works, how the universe works. So I'll first give you an example about how this world works, a generalized idea of how the world works, how the universe works. First, we'll go through physical things. So, because it is easier to understand. So when we try to understand the laws of physics, laws of nature, we know that every system is trying to become stabilized. It is how the word of science, or when we are looking from a viewpoint of science, that is the idea we get. So every system in nature tries to become stabilized. Whether it is about gravity, or let's say we throw something up high in the air, so it tries to stabilize. So because of that, it comes back to the earth and it finds a point where it is more stabilized. So water falls down from a waterfall down to the down below, or to the riverbed, because of it trying to be stabilized. Heat energy goes from the place where there is more energy to the place where there is less energy. So heat also tries to become stabilized. So everything, energy, light, particles, through diffusion, through osmosis, all the processes are designed in a way that they get stabilized. Stabilized in the sense there's no concentration gradient. Always the concentration gradient tries to become stabilized so that there's no gradient. So this is the way of the external world. So the world of karma, or karmic energy, also acts in a similar manner. So we know the phrase that the arihats are punya papa pahinassa. So what does that mean? They do not act, and they do not create meritorious power or sinful power. Or in other words, positive power or negative power are not created by an arihat. So that means an arihat is stabilized. An arihat does not break the stabilization of the universe. Oh, in this story, he does not break the stabilization of karmic flow. Flow of karmic energy is not disrupted by an arihat. So when it comes to a normal person, it is almost always disrupted, whether if it is for a good cause or whether if it is for a bad cause. What you receive is always changed by the actions of avidya. So because of avidya, you do not like to receive, or you do not like to accept what you receive. You always want to change it. You always want to have better. Let's say you get a plate of rice or plate of noodles for dinner, and what you like is not noodles. What you like is something else. So you do not accept the thing you received because of your meritorious power that day, because of your karmic energy acting upon you. Because of that, you are given a plate of noodles, plate of rice, but your avidya thinks otherwise. So avidya gives a different opinion. So what avidya does is, no, I want to have this delicious food item. So you just throw away what you got and you change the normal flow of karmic energy using avidya, raga, dvesha, and moha. That creates an imbalance. And this imbalance creates, it would get what you want. You would go to your vehicle and you would drive away and you would go to a restaurant and you would order a nice plate of rice or whatever it is that you like, and you would eat it. And you did it because of raga. Now that's the problem. So raga, if you go back to the culprit, that is avidya. Avidya was the starting point. Because of avidya, because of raga, you changed the normal flow. But an arihat would never do that. If he receives a plate of rice and that is what he gets because of his punya or meritorious power, he would accept it, he would have it, and there would not be any um, um, alteration of causes because of avidya, because there's no avidya in his system. So he changed, the first person changed the normal cause. So because of that, the karmic energy which was created that day would, because he has created an imbalance, now this karmic energy would act on him again. It would come back to him like a boomerang. It would, after some time, it is like a seed you plant. Seed does not give results on the same day. It takes time. When the seed is buried in the soil, a fertile soil and water, and everything is supplied, one day the seed will grow into a tree and fruits will come out. And if it is a good seed, you would like the fruit. And that would be a punya vipaka, or good vipaka, positive vipaka, blissful ones. But if it is a negative seed that you planted, then the results would be negative. And you would not like that. Suffering results, bad results, negative results would be the result that comes. Because of that, then now you understand why an arihat is called punya papa pahinasa, and a normal person, even a person who is before an arihat, an arya person who is before an arihat, or a prutabjana person, or a lay person, in other words, a lay person, would not have this ability. So they would always, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, they would change the normal way which the world works, or normal presentation of karmic energy. The normal presentation would be changed by normal people or lay people and Seka people. Seka means Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and up until to an Arihat pathway, up until Arihat Phala. But a person who have attained Arihat Phala would not have this kind of a mindset. So I explain this thing because then you would be able to understand how these relationships are formed, debts are formed. So debts are bad thing. But if you can, it is better if you could use the term relationships for the time being, but we'll go back to debts later. So when it comes to relationships, there can be good relationships as well as bad relationships. So this is also a relationship. Now what we are having is a relationship. So we are having a discussion. One is at the receiving end and one is at the giving end. So this is a, if you rephrase it in a way, it is a debt being paid, but it is a good one. That's why I said the word debt does not cover the whole picture. We can call it a relationship. So the Sinhala word is very suitable for this, but since what we can get most closer is the word relationship, we'll use that. So this is a relationship. So this relationship, we don't know how it formed. It might have some way or other during this sansari journey, we have associated with one another, and individually as well. We have associated with Buddha Sasana, Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and we have created various causes, meritorious power, or we have changed the normal flow of this world in a way that it would affect in a good way towards us. So today we are having this discussion, and we are using that energy again to amplify and to ultimately end this sansari journey. So now that is a good relationship, but this is a very rare occurrence. Most of the people in this universe, not the universe, let's take this world, do not get this chance, do not get this kind of a very rare chance, but most of them would create negative relationships. This is a positive relationships. So what I need to emphasize here is we have to create positive relationships. We have to avoid negative relationships, because negative relationships are the things that we can call debts. So because of that, so let's say the relationship between parents and children can be sometimes a negative relationship. Let's take an example here. So let's take a relationship where a human is let's see how the animal or a rabbit is being formed. What is the sankhara which creates a rabbit, which is the jati? So now we are going to go through the paticca. So it is the etymology, when you are trying to understand how a species is born when it comes to Arya discipline. So we know that there's this scientific terminology. For a rabbit, there might be a Latin two words or Latinified words, which have a species name and a generic name. So that is how in science an animal is identified. But when it comes to Arya discipline, the name in so that person ask for, let's say you ask for the 100,000 rupees. So 100,000 rupees you ask from your friend, can you lend me 100,000 rupees? So this person lends you 100,000 rupees, and after some time this person does not give that money back. He says, okay, I'll give it to you today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and this tomorrow never comes. So that is the sankhara which creates that kind of an animal. So you become a rabbit. then that's why they jump, they hop. Why do they hop? Because that's the nature in their gati or bhava, state of being. So as a human, they just did not face that person, because if the other person is coming, when you see the person far away, you just hide. You hide from that person. You play hide and seek. Because of that nature in your system, you get this habit of hopping. You cannot walk. A rabbit cannot walk. It just hops. So you can, if you relate the two, you can identify a lot of similarities between that kind of a person and that animal. So then the rabbit was created. What happens to the other person? Other person becomes full of dvesha. So this person is full of raga and hides from him without giving what he promised. And the person who lended the money, he becomes a person of dvesha, and he just chases away this person. He always tries to find out where he hides. He tries to frighten him and try to take his money by force or whatever method. So this is what is done by the other one. So he becomes a tiger, let's say a tiger. So now this is how, when you change the normal flow, or in a bad way, or bad seeds are being planted, this is how that relationship ends. One becomes a rabbit and one becomes a tiger. What happens in the end? This debt is being paid by the rabbit with his flesh. So the tiger kills the rabbit and eats his flesh, and finally, and this happens maybe 100,000, 1 million times, because when you do a sankhara in the human world, it get multiplied by several million times when the vipaka comes. So this happens for several million times, and that relationship or debt is being paid with flesh. So this is a typical example of how this debt and the concept of debt work in this society, in this world. So when it comes to human relationships, it's the same. Oh, I'll tell you a story. This is a real story. And in this story, this was actually said by a monk, a very closest monk of mine. And this is a personal experience of his during his times as a normal person without becoming clergy. So in his village, there was a person who is very, very angry and a very bad person, and this person has a grudge on another person, and this fight or this problem worsens over time. And what happens is, one person chops off the hand or arm of the other person. So this one person chops off the arm of the other person. So after that, he gets this arm, and you would be amazed what he did. He started, after chopping off the arm, he takes the arm in his hand, and he said he ate the arm. I don't know how that's possible, but that's the story. So he chops off the arm and he eats the arm raw. So after some time, this person who chopped off this person, the other person, he has this he has a child, and this child marries, and this child has another grandson. So the person whose hand was gone dies because of blood loss, and after some time, this grandson was born. So the daughter-in-law becomes pregnant, and after some time, this grandson, his grandson is born, and you would be amazed to see in this grandson's body that arm is not there. That arm is gone. So this is how, ironically, this is how debts have to be paid. Now, this person who you killed, or that person killed, becomes your grandson, and now that person does not even understand why this happened, but now you are bonded with blood. Because of that, now you have to bear that what you call burden of that your grandson does not have a limb. So this is how debts are being paid. It comes back. Sometimes it is obvious like that. Sometimes it is not so obvious. It's very the karmic energy and the word of karma, the technology and the interconnections work very differently. So that's why it is said that it is a subject of Supreme Buddha, and nobody else can understand the karmic flow like him 100%. We only will be able to, might be able to understand it a fraction of a fraction, very small, minute amount of understanding about this karmic flow. But this is how debts are being formed. So if you see your relationships between your parents, your children, some debts are being, or some relationships are being created for the benefit of both parties. Some relationships are formed for the benefit of one party, because when you have done bad things to the other person, and these debts are being formed, you have to come very close in order to pay these debts. You would not be able to pay these debts if one is born in USA and the other one is born in Korea. So because there would not be any interactions between you two. So for some debt to be paid, you have to come very close. So if you see around, you would see the people you are in debt with, the people around you, parents, parents, and the other spouses, children, neighbors. So the next door neighbor might be a very big nuisance for you. He's a very problematic person. Why? Because of various kinds of relationships that you have created during this samsaric journey. They have to come very close. Your enemy has to come closer some way or other. If he was in the other side of the world, he would not be able to pay that debt. You would not be able to pay that debt. That relationship would not work because there was no interaction. But the people you like, people you don't like, come very close to you, because that is how the interactions are being created. That is how the debts are being paid. So if you think about it, in some families, there are children, few children, let's say 2 or 3 children, one, let's say elder child and a younger child. So two children family. So in this family, one is working 24/7 for the betterment of the family. and the younger child, this is the older child. Younger child is not doing anything. He's just roaming around without doing anything, just procrastinating and everything. So the funny thing is, father or the mother or both of them just put the blame on the older child who is working 24/7 for the betterment of the family. They say, I don't know this is a culture, whether this is a cultural thing, but we are we sometimes see these kinds of things in here in Sri Lanka, but maybe you also have these kinds of things in your country as well. So this is why I'm giving this example. So here, this mother and father put the blame on the older child who is doing everything, saying that you are not doing enough for the family. And the second child who is not doing anything, he is being uh, praised, or nothing is said to nobody blames him, or father or mother does not blame him, because on his actions, saying that he is the younger child, he does not have any good experience about this world, and this is how debts are being paid. So if the old child has more debts and the younger child has not or less debts, so the father and mother sees this older child as the bad person, even though he does everything for the family. So this is how debts are being paid for when it comes to family relationships and everything. So sometimes that's why I said it should be the word relationship should be better. So some relationships, we have to get rid of debts, of course. Otherwise, we would not be able to get rid of this sansaric journey. We have to pay the debts. We have to know that we have done something negative. That is why I am obligated to do these kinds of things. And you do it without getting your avidya in the way, thinking that this is what I have created and this is what I have to pay. I'll pay it and I'll end it, and I will not create this kind of relations or imbalances again. And that is the best thing to do. And when the debts are being paid, these people around you would not want you anymore because their debts are being paid. So I'll give you another example. This is a very good example which was given by A낫따를 Thero himself. So he had this he said this story where there was a person, a shopkeeper, who lends money. So this shopkeeper has given a considerable amount of money to a person, and this person, without being able to pay this debt on time, or even though he was planning to pay this on time, he died. This person died. So this person died with the debt toward the shopkeeper. So after death, his son somehow got involved with Dhamma and met the A낫따를 Thero and his teachings, and he listened to this concept of debts. So after listening, he knew that his father has a very big debt toward this shopkeeper or a person who lends money. So after some time, after listening to this Dhamma, he decided that I'll pay everything he owes, because my father died with a debt and I don't want him to have that. So as his son, I have money and I'll pay this. So he went to this shopkeeper and he asks this shopkeeper, how much do my father owe you? And he said, to his amazement, I did not wanted this because the man is gone, and I forgot about it. I just did not chased after it because the person is dead anyway. So, but the boy or the son insisted that he want to pay. So he calculated the amount and he said it, and the person, the son of the person, paid it. And for the amazement of everybody, a cow, let's say a bull or a bull who was there in his possession, the possession of the what do you call the shopkeeper, died at that instant moment when the debt was paid. So that person's father, if I explain what happened, that person's father has died because after his death, because he owes the shopkeeper, he became a bull for manual labor for that person to pay his debts. But when the debts are paid by his son, because his son has a connection with him, blood connection, so he can pay the debt. And when the amount was paid and the account was closed, the bull has had nothing or no relationship or debt toward the shopkeeper, so he died, and he might have gone somewhere else, depending on what kind of meritorious deeds or sinful acts he have done. So this is how things are. So this is how the concept of debts come to place. So the important thing, again, back to the main topic. So relationships are very important. What relationships? Not the negative ones, but the positive ones. The positive ones. You created many relationships during this few weeks of Dhamma discussion, as well as donations towards various kinds of good deeds when it comes to the upliftment of Buddha Sasana. So these kinds of things, when you do those kinds of things, that would create relationships, that would create positive relationships, and you are actually getting the benefits of positive relationships you have created during the sansaric journey right now by listening to Dhamma, somehow getting Dhamma through whatever the means, wherever you are in this universe. That is how the positive things work. So that of course, you are experiencing the negative relationships as well. If you reflect on your life, if you reflect on what you do, who are around you, what kind of relationships you are having with them, you will very well understand that you are having negative relationships as well. So do not promote negative ones. You know what to do. We have discussed what to do. You should not promote negative relationships. You should not act on things or decide on things with raga, dvesha, and moha. That would create bad negative results. Especially not raga, dvesha, moha, but lobha, desha, moha. So this lobha, desha, moha would be generating bad results, bad things that would, we call them akusala mula. So you are disrupting the flow of the universe in a negative way, but you can disrupt the flow of the universe in a positive way. That's how someday you would become a punya papa pahinasa, where you do not disrupt anything. You are just a part of this nature. You don't have, you are just like a tree which bends towards the flow of the wind. You don't go against it. You don't have any, you know that you cannot have things according to expectations. You cannot you know what anicca is. You are fully aware the scope of anicca, that sabbe sankhara anicchati. And when you know sabbe sankhara anicchati, you know that you cannot have things according to your expectations, but it is a cause and effect theory. So you become a part of the nature, but and without thinking that you are a different person who is able to control the nature. You understand you are being controlled by the nature and you are a part of the nature, and this is the ultimate understanding you would get. And this understanding is also what you create through good things. So the wisdom is not a coincidence. It is not a thing that just comes out of the blue. It is a result of causes. What are the causes that you create? These good causes. When you offer alms to a supreme noble person, that supreme Buddha, or a person who has attained Magapala, we can say Sotapanna, Sakadagami, and Anagami person, whoever it is, or we can say Supreme Buddha, including all the Bhikkhu Sangha, or whatever it is, whatever the person, when you offer alms, when you offer alms, you are offering energy, you are offering the comfort, refreshness, then power, and also wisdom. Because without that, without food, you cannot have wisdom. So when you give these kinds of things, you are creating relationships in a positive way that would come back. Now you are planting the seed, and this seed would grow into a tree, and it would give you the output, or the fruits, or food, or whatever it is. The output would be given, and that output would help you to end this, the next, or the part which you are still struggling to complete. So you understand how this works. Both of them, or good or bad, both of them work like boomerangs. They come back to you. It would take time, it would take generations, it would take lifetimes, few lifetimes to happen, but it works. Because it does not happen, it is because it is not so obvious, people do not sometimes believe it, and they do bad things. They create bad karma, bad energies, and they come back to you again without your understanding, and that would be a very bad thing that would happen to you. If you have referred Dhammapada, there's this verse, diso disan yantang kaira veriva pana verinang, then micha panihitan chittang papyonang tato kare. That means if there's a thief, and this thief steals from another thief, then the relationship would be that the person, the thief who stole from the other thief would try to harm the thief who stole from him. So that would be the relationship. Just like that, when you do bad things, when you create negative energies, negative karma, that would harm the person who created it. That is the meaning of that Dhammapada Gatha. So if you create bad energies, that itself would eat you. If you, that means the result that would give towards you is a bad one. When you create bad things will come to you. So the opposite is when you create good things. The other gatha, there's another one, and it's I cannot remember the exact Pali words, but the meaning is even the good that is done by good deeds or meritorious deeds, even your parents, your relations, or nobody else would be able to do such a good towards you like the good positive relationships or positive energies that you have created throughout this lifetime. So those are the things that comes help to your help at the end, and the negative ones are the things that would drag you down at the end, and nothing else would matter when it comes to the sansari journey. So that is the important message when it comes to depths and the concept of depths. I hope you understand the concept of this depth and this concept of relationships, positive as well as negative. And if you have any questions about this topic or this question we discussed today, you can go on and ask. I hope you have questions, and if you don't have any questions, we can proceed to the other question which was posted during this week about, and that is also very nice question, that cover up a very important part that you might be lacking in your understanding. So if you have any questions, you can post these questions to the chat, or you can unmute and present the question.
Thank you very much, Thero, for that explanation. And as Venerable Thero said, if you have any questions, please post them or ask in relation to this. If not, we will in a little while move on to the next question. Thero, may I ask a question in relation to that, while others may be coming up with one? Would it then be correct to say that everything is a form of debt, good or bad, or what we receive that comes our way? Or would that be over simplification of the process?
Can you repeat in the question?
Sure. My question is, when we live in our lives, we have various interactions, various things we receive, various experiences that we may go through. Can that be then bracketed into saying all of that is a transaction or a debt, or is that too much of a simplification of a cause and effect process?
Yeah. So that is a good question. So here, sometimes when it comes to relationships, let's take this example where this goat, I think we have discussed this, the goat was killed. Goat was a goat, and this goat, in a previous life, this goat was a lady, and this lady kills a goat, and because of that, because of the disruption of energy, or we can say because of the karmic energy which was created because of that, she becomes a goat. And this goat, after dying maybe millions of times, the final death, or she has paid most of his debts because of killing a goat, which was created by killing a goat, and this is the last lifetime as a god, where this god should be killed by cutting his neck. And this person, a Brahmin, gets the idea, because it is how now this is a relationship, but sometimes there are debts, direct debts. Sometimes you are just now creating the debt. So here, this interaction between the God and this person happens. So this person, in this story, it says that the God first cries and then becomes happy. And this Brahmin asks why. It says, this is my last time this is my last time of getting killed by cutting the throat because of my wrongdoings, where I killed a goat in a similar way, and that created this karmic energy, and this is the last debt I have to pay. That is why I smiled. Then why did you cry? Because you become you would be facing what I faced throughout this millions of lifetimes because of killing me. So this is what the God said. So if you think about the relationship between the God and the human, this is a newly forming relationship. So what I want to emphasize here is not everything is you can say a debt. You cannot put that word debt to everything, but most of the time when it comes to strong bonds, especially when it comes to family bonds and everything, and especially about relations, neighbors and everything, sometimes, most of the time, they can be due to interactions and relationships that you have creating these kinds of debts towards the other ones, but not always. That's why the karmic energy is what becomes the which rules or which crafts the way how this world works. So even though it is the main force, main energy that would sort of creates the environment, it is always challenged by other small factors. For example, you see a bad thing, a negative image through your eyes. So that is up until that moment, it's karmic energy. But after that, what you do is you with avidya, you changes the circumstances, you changes the setting, and now that is not karmic energy, that is the action created with avidya. So you changes it, you do not accept what is being created. So the karmic energy is being changed, and a new environment is being created, and in that new environment another karmic force can attract and act on that new environment that you have created. For example, I'll give you an example, because without an example it might be confusing to understand. So here, let's say this is a good example given by, again, our Thero. So there was a person, and this person was a very poor person, and this person goes to a lottery shop and buys a lottery, and after seeing the results, he gets to know that he has won the ultimate prize, or the biggest prize. He has won the highest prize that the lottery gives. because of the joy, enjoyment, or the happiness he gets because of this new news, he jumps and be happy. So when he jumps, what happens is he's a person who owns a this meat shop, and the thing is, in meat shops they have hooks, and what they do is they cut the animal, they get the flesh, and they put it in the hook. So the put it in display by attaching it to a hook, and this person jumps up with joy, and what happens is his chin gets attached in this hook, and he gets hanged in the hook, and this person dies because of that. So this is the story. So think about it. So if this was a person who does not care about money, now the vipaka, or the karmic energy, acts in a way that it created a fortune for this person. So he bought this lottery, and for because of this person's good luck, what happened? The meritorious deeds he have done, what happened? All the numbers were aligning with what he had in his hand, or the lottery he had in his hand. So he was happy, but this happiness is coming out of avidya, because there's nothing to be happy of. There's no value in money. They are just papers, if you think in that way. Or even though they were seen as money, you cannot buy anything valuable that lasts forever, that is of nitya sukhatta subha nature in this world. So you know that there's no value, there's no importance. You would be just neutral about it. If you were a person who did not had avidya, the person would say that you have won the lottery, and you are like, so what is there to be happy of? What is there to be happy of in this world which gives value, importance, a sense of happiness? These are false happiness, and you would understand through your through the great wisdom you have developed. But when the person is full of avidya, what happens? That sankara, jumping sankara, happened. So he just went up. He jumped, and that created a new environment for another karmic energy to be dropped. So what happened? He also had a very bad negative energy, even though initially it was a positive one. This is how the karmic energy works. We do not know the next move. So he created a very bad environment, and that environment was it got the negative energy, or it created the perfect environment for the negative energy to come. It came, and he got hung in that hook, and he died. So that's the next karmic energy working its action. So that's how the thing works. So you have to understand that if that avidya paccha sankara was not there, that death could have been prevented. So what you have to identify is everything is not karma, but when we create the perfect environments, or either we create it, or either external environment works in a way which creates the background, or people around us because of their avidya creates the environment which creates the perfect environment for various kinds of good and bad karma to be implemented. So this is how you need to understand. So depth is one way of seeing it, and depth does not explain everything. So that's what you need to understand. I hope that explains, that gives an answer for your question, Mr.
Yes, thank you very much, Thero, for that clarification and explanation. With that, may I ask if you have any questions in relation to the extended discussion, please go ahead and post it. Maybe we'll give you a minute. If not, I think Venerable Thero can move on to the question that was posted this week. Thank you. So shall we then move on to the next question? And if they have anything, they can post it while it is.
Yeah, sure. So the next question, I'll read the rephrased question. So initially, the question was posted, and I rephrased it because of to get more clarified of what is being said. So the question was, what is the difference between dislike that occurs as a result of knowing anicca, dukkha, and anatta, and the dislike that occurs as a result of raga, dvesa, moha, and especially dosa? So the importance that you need to what the important fact that should be highlighted here is that when you see things with anicca, dukkha, anatta, it is not a dislike that occurs. So since you have read a lot of Pali translations, Pali text, and the there's nothing wrong with the Pali text, but the translations, if you have heard these Pali words, nibbinditva virajyati, virajjitva vimuchyati. So the nibbinditva, the word nibbinditva is translated as fed up. So fed up is not the word that should be put, or that should explain this word. This is a very wrong thing. And when someone understands nibbinditva as fed up, all the doors towards the comprehension of Arya Dhamma is closed. That is that important, because fed up is a thing that happens because of dosa. So dosa and nibbinditva cannot go together, because nibbinditva is a thing that happens because of Arya understanding or wisdom. So wisdom and raga, or in this case dosa, should not come together. So here I'll explain the difference between the two. So raga, dvesha, moha. So especially here, when if it is raga, you get attached. You don't find it not like dislike or not liking is not an option when it comes to raga. But when it comes to dvesa, so dosa, so initially you liked something, and this item you liked changed in a way that you don't like. Whether it end up in viparinama, or in other words, jara marana, or it end up in anicca or anyatha. Anyatha means it's changed its appearance in a way that you don't like. For example, you had your car, your brand new car, and after some time, it is not brand new anymore. It became old and it became rusty and it is almost broken. It was subjected to jara marana, and that is the viparinama part. And the other part is it can undergo the effects of anicca. How a big stone or a rock fell on the windscreen and the windscreen got shattered, and you met with an accident and the car is now look like a wrecked piece of metal. So that is the effects of anicca acting upon your vehicle. So both of them created dosa. Both of them. You don't like the things that happen to your car. You don't like. Now that is dislike. That is getting fed up. That is not nibbindati. Nibbindati is something else. So when it comes to nibbindati, the real idea, nibbindati, if you divide it in go to the etymology, nibbinditva means, nibbindati means nobandima. Nobandima in Sinhala means non-attachment. So non-attachment is what creates the what is the result of non-attachment? That is virajyati. So when you do not get attached to something, then you how does that happen? So the non-attachment happens because when you discipline your body and words, that means body and mouth. So when these two things are being disciplined, you call that sila. So sila, when you apply the effects of sila, what happens? You know how the vijnana is being formed, sankhara pacca vijnana. So when the kaya sankhara and vachi sankhara are not being performed, the vijnana starts to get weakened. So when the vijnana gets weakened, then the next effect occurs, virajyati. So when the attachment, non-attachment is nibbindati, nibbinditva virajyati, then the stickiness or the as soon as what happens when you see these objects of attachment, as soon as you see them, your mind just gets attached to them. You cannot stop it. It is a cause and effect law after all. You cannot stop it. You cannot change it according to expectation or according to a wish. It just happens. So how does it changes? You deviate or you eliminate these kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara associated with this vijnana. When that happens, the vijnana starts to shake. Vijnana starts to get weakened. And when this vijnana gets weakened, when you see that kind of an object, at that point, you are able to, your mind is stronger now. You can fight with it. You can control your mind. You feel like you can control your mind. There's no controlling. But since the wisdom, part of wisdom is more powerful, the wisdom takes control. So you feel like you are in control because the wisdom takes control, and the vijnana cannot act on what it wants. So when that happens, vimuchyati, virajitva vimuchyati, then what is the next step? Sila, then samadhi. Then the samadhi is being created, or samadhi is developed. When the samadhi is developed, the end result is sila, samadhi. The final result is panya, wisdom. So that mindset would develop wisdom, and that is the end result. That is the virajati. The sticky nature of your mind is gone. You are not sticky anymore. Whatever you see, you don't find it, that you don't develop that uneasy, vexatious mindset which that was used to occur previously. So that is how you have to understand about anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So anicca, when you see from a point of anicca, dukkha, anatta, it is not a dislike that occurs. It is a sense of understanding. So in this understanding, let's say, so let's go into an example. So this person is having a very expensive gold necklace. So this person wears this necklace everywhere and likes to show this necklace to all his friends, all the people, and he's having, or he's like showing it off to the society. But a friend of his comes and tells him, I also had the same type of necklace, and in the hard way, I got to know that this is not real. This is a fake one. And this person initially does not like to buy that. But this person, the Kalyana Mitra, if I would say, says this new person, new friend, that you can check, you can put this chemical and you can do this experiment. And if this experiment passes, you can wear it, you can say that this is gold. But if this necklace fails the experiment, then you can understand that this is fake. So this person says, okay, all right, I'll do it, and I'll prove you that this is in fact real. So he puts the chemical and he do the experiment or the test, and thing is the necklace fails the test. And after that, do this person feel a dislike towards the necklace? No, he does not feel any dislike towards the necklace. He just don't want that necklace anymore. Why? I was wearing a piece of rubbish all this time. Why am I wearing this? I'll just throw it away. There's nothing to be disliked about it. He just understood the reality. He just his eyes were open and he could see that this is not a real necklace that he was wearing. So why am I wearing it? Just throw it away. So it's the same thing that happens with anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So if I simplify this tale, it goes like, even though the thing is fake, he might just want to hang on to it for a bit because of avidya. But later he would understand, no, why am I wearing this piece of rubbish? Now I have been wearing this for several days. Now I don't feel that I am a very worthy person. I know that I am wearing a piece of rubbish around my neck and I should just throw it away. Why am I just fooling myself up? So that would be the idea. After some time, this person would just throw it away. So there's no disliking in that. It's just understanding of what he went through. So just like that, when you give value to the world, you think that this is a very valuable and you are enjoying it. You are enjoying the images, sounds, smells, tastes, touches, and thoughts and everything, and you are having a feast out of this world. So after some time, a Kalyana Mitra comes and says, now do this experiment, which is called Arya Pariyesana, and you would understand that what you are experiencing is actually a mirage. actually a delusional blissful sensation, and it is not valuable, and it is full of garbage. So when someone says like that, initially you don't want to believe it, but you know in deep inside that it's the truth. But just like the person who did not want to throw away the necklace initially, but you would have that same feeling. You would just try to somehow forget about what you heard and try to go on with your life. But the thing is, the the what you heard is the truth, and truth comes up uh, all the time. It cannot be hidden. It comes up when you try to experience the blissfulness. The meaningless nature, pointless nature comes up and shows that its real colors. After some time, you feel that this is the truth. I cannot hide from it. I'll just throw it away. You don't get any angry feeling, feeling of dosa, or feeling of fed upness, nothing like that. It's just happiness that comes because of comparison. So you compare, before you compare the self, uh, before understanding this, and the self after understanding this. So you would understand that I was just trying to hurt myself. I was just working all the time, tired all the time, trying to go after things that were meaningless, pointless, and which does not give any real meaning or happiness, which is everlasting. I had to. It's just like um, paddling the bicycle to get light from a dynamo. You cannot stop. If you want light, if you want the bulb to work, you have to paddle and paddle and paddle. So that's the only way you can get the blissful sensation. And this is very tiring. You cannot have it. And you paddle for a lifetime and you die. And again, what you do is you start to paddle in your next life. And on top of that, there are good places as well as bad places. And in bad places, you are being paddled. So that is the problem when it comes to samsara. And you understand this. When you understand this, you understand now I am very fortunate. I always have to see anicca dukkha anatta. And when I see anicca dukkha anatta, a huge chunk of my suffering just goes away. So it is not a dislike that occurs by seeing anicca dukkha anatta. It is a happiness that occurs by seeing anicca dukkha anatta. This is anicca, this is dukkha, and this is anatta. How fortunate I am to see this reality and to be blissful about the reduction of suffering. So you are seeing in a opposite way. You are seeing that the reduction of suffering itself is blissful, and you have to when this is a feeling of wisdom. That is what I have to say. This is not what you feel from the vedana. Vedana is one thing, wisdom is another. So this is a feeling of wisdom. This happiness comes through wisdom. The reduction of suffering is in fact blissful. It is just like this. I'll give you another example. There's a fish in the water, and a person who is going to catch this fish is on the river bank with a fish hook and a worm attached to the fish hook, and he is on his mission to catch this fish. So the normal lay person or the fish, the idea what he gets is worm is very tasty. that is a feeling of Vedana. That is a conclusion of Vedana. That conclusion was solely based on Vedana. Yes, true, that's the truth. The worm is delicious. But so if you act upon that conclusion and eats that worm, you get attached to that hook, and you would be dead in no time. And when that instance occurs, that same fish cries and trembles in fear, saying, "Save me, help me." Now, at that point, he is experiencing suffering, and this suffering also felt with Vedana, felt by Vedana. So, the normal lay people and also animals and all the living sentient beings except Arihats and the people who have understood this Arya Dhamma goes to conclusions based on Vedana. So that is the problem. So when it comes to a Arya person, he does not get into conclusions with Vedana, but develops wisdom and tries to see the big picture. So he sees the worm as the cause for suffering, and he sees through that wisdom. So you have to see through the wisdom to see that this is the cause of suffering, because if the worm was not there, there's nothing lethal in that whole river or in that instance. The human is not lethal, the hook is not lethal, the fish, anything else that in that fishing apparatus is not lethal. The only lethal thing for the fish is the worm. If the worm was not there, however, how much time the fisherman spent on catching a fish, he would not be successful, because there is no worm attached to the fish hook. The fish should be safe. Fish should be living a good life. But as soon as the worm is attached to this fish hook, then it becomes a very lethal weapon for the fish. So Arya person understand this, and he concludes out of his wisdom that this fish, the worm, is the cause for suffering and is what should be eliminated, because other things are harmless. So there are 6 fish hooks are being put to this sea of samsara, and there are 6 worms that are being attached: images, sounds, smells, tastes, touches, and thoughts. Blissful ones, blissful images, blissful sounds, and so on. So those are the reasons for suffering. So when somebody sees the whole picture, he sees this reason. He sees the anicca, dukkha, anatta nature. So when he sees the whole picture and decides not to get attached to this fish hook, he should he be fed up, or should he be happy? Should he dislike this fish hook and the fish and the apparatus, or should he be happy because of seeing it? He should be happy because he just escaped death and lot of suffering. So reduction of suffering is seen as blissful when it comes to Arya discipline. That is what is that anicca, dukkha, anatta are the three pillars that helps to get to that conclusion and to get that end result that this world is anicca, or the world, that, to get the end result to reduce the suffering. So that is what you need to understand here. So initial part, yes, when it comes to raga, dvesha, moha, when it comes to dosa, there's always negative feelings, fed upness, or anger, hatred, hate, maliciousness, whatever it is there when it comes to dosa, because dosa comes because of raga, and dosa comes because of moha. So everything is, yes, attached to one another in a way. Raga, dvesha, moha can cause dislike, but anicca, the conclusion that you receive, conclusion that you get from seeing through anicca, dukkha, anatta, in other words, seeing through wisdom, is not dislike, is a feeling of relief, because otherwise you would have just died, you would have just suffered lethal damage. So that is the difference between the two. I hope you understand the difference, and I hope you are clear with what we discussed.
Thank you, Venerable Thero, for that explanation. Also, we'd like to ask that you post any questions, especially with regard to what the Thero explained, since it's a quite a critical point that helps to differentiate the path. So we'll give you a minute or two for you to send us if there are any questions. If not, we will continue the discussion on any remaining questions or anything else Thero would like to put forward. Thero, in extension to your explanation, may I kindly maybe request a further addition to it so that it may add more to the valuable point that you made. As
Yes,
a result
sure.
of seeing anicca, things as anicca, dukkha, anatta, and as you said, seeing the reduction of suffering in itself as happiness, that alludes to the point that one must train or rather move towards placing their thoughts to the to nibbana, or that idea, because when you look at the world from anicca, dukkha, anatta, you see it for what it is, but then you have to have a place to park your thoughts. So maybe I think that was many way explained within your explanation, but maybe we could focus on that a little bit more. Sometimes that's a part we all miss, even in my own life in the practice. That was something that took a while to develop, and once developing it, it was very meaningful. So
Sure. So I'll go through a very good example which was given by the Abhayarathana Thero himself. So he gave this example where there's a crow, a bird. You might know about the crow. It's a black bird, and this bird is a carnivorous bird, and in this story, that bird is on a ship. This ship is a sail ship, So it is in the middle of the ocean, and this bird is taken in the ship so that they in the old era they can find the pathway, or if there's whether there's a nearby land by using this bird. What they do is they just chase away the bird from the ship. When the bird is chased away from the ship, it goes high up in the air and it sees whether there's any land. If there's a land, it just flews away to the land and never come back to the ship, because ship is not a place for that kind of a bird. It's not a bird that prefers sea. So if there's no land, it comes back and comes back to the ship, and because it's the only place, because all around is water, it cannot have any place to stay in water, so it comes back to the ship. And this is how the salesman or the people captain or whatever the person is knows that there's no land around. So this, using this example, we can understand how to practice this pathway. So anicca dukkha, knowing anicca dukkha anatta, in other words, we call it anulomak shanti. So knowing anicca dukkha anatta is like chasing the bird away. So when the bird is the ship, this world, this universe, or whatever it is this ship. When you hear about anicca dukkha anatta, you don't prefer that kind of a world. So what happens is you just fly away and go high up, and you want to find a solution, but you look around and you see nothing. So then what happens, you come back again to the old ship, which is the old anicca dukkha anatta world, because you don't know what else to do. You know that this world is not good. These are full of anicca dukkha anatta. There's no point, and there's no exact value here. But what else can I do? I am stuck here, is the feeling that this person would get, and that is the exact feeling that the crow is getting. So what if that crow, after going up, sees a new land, a piece of land? Then it becomes very happy and abandons this old rusty ship and goes to the land. Just like that, when someone sees the nibbana, then they have a place. This is actually, nibbana is not a place, but I am using this analogy to explain what needs to be understood, what you need to understand. So you just find a new piece of land, or you find this nibbana, and you find that, and you take refuge in that place. So using that example, apply it to our Arya pathway. So you see anicca dukkha anatta, and you see that this world is full of anicca dukkha anatta. So you find, so you only have seen the half of the picture. So it says that if you have seen anicca dukkha anatta, you have not still attained the phala, sotapanna phala. You are in the sotapanna stream. That means you are a stream enterer, but when you attain the phala, you see the nibbana. That is the point. You are fully you fully understand that this is what I should do for the rest of my life, or rest of the journey, until I attain nibbana. So you become you don't need it is very helpful that you have any help, it is very good that you have any help, but you don't need it. That is not essential, but it is very helpful if you have help from other sources. Yes. So the thing is, when somebody is understanding the importance of nibbana, that is called sammatta niyama. And when you attain some, when you have the sammatta niyama, or the nibbana part, then you are fully capable. You have attained sotapanna phala. What is nibbana? Nibbana is the feeling, or what you, when you see anicca dukkha anatta, there's this non-attachment and feeling of non-attachment. There's this salvation. So when you get rid of this raga, the reduction of suffering itself is experienced as nibbana. So it is when the attachment or the reduction of suffering. So what is the reason for suffering? That is attachment. So when the attachment is gone, what is gone? Suffering is gone. So when the suffering is gone, that means the attachment has gone. And when the attachment is gone, that means avidya is gone. What is avidya? Nitya sukhata subha nature. Then when the avidya, or we can simply say value. So when the value is gone, again attachment is gone, and when the attachment is gone, again the suffering is gone. When you are able to experience the level of reduction of suffering, then that much is experience, that much is understood as blissful, and that is not the full nibbana at the fullest level, but that is the concept of nibbana. Reduction of blissful, reduction of so when you have, the thing is, when you give value, so you have to practice this in a very organized manner. So when you are attached value, you get this uneasiness in your mind, vexatious feeling in your mind, because if something has value, you have to own it, you have to protect it, you have to maintain it, and you have to do all sort of things because it is valuable. When you don't have that sense, when you don't have that value in your mind, you don't have those obligations that you have to do towards that specific object. You are not obliged, you are not you are not you are not getting that vexatious mindset that pushes you to do those kinds of things. Because of that, you are the sankhara dukkha is reduced, dukkha dukkha is reduced, viparinama dukkha is reduced. So when these dukkhas are reduced, and try to think about that state of mind and compare the two. Initially, I was very distressed. I was very uneasy. I was very busy, and I was trying to win a competition which has been already lost. And I did not know that it is such a meaningless thing. And now I know, and I am very relaxed, the vexatious mindset is gone. And you compare the two, and you see the importance of the mind, the non-vexatious, cooled down, relaxed, peaceful kind of mindset that you are having right now. Compare the two and see the importance of the latter mindset. So when you practice this would start to develop. More and more sufferings would go away from your life, and you would like that new state of mind. And more sufferings would go away when you see more things as anicca dukkha anatta, and more sufferings would go away, and you would like that new state of mind which has less suffering. And you would not settle there, because you know, still I have problems, still I have sufferings in this state of mind as well. So you are digging in deep, and you are doing the vidarshana. You are doing your mental what do you call exercises, mental exercises. You are thinking in the anicca dukkha anatta pattern, and you are constantly removing your raga dvesha moha, or the value that is given to this world, and the settling mindset is seen as very blissful. But you would not settle until all the raga dvesha moha gone. Now you found the point where to settle. Now that is where you would settle, but not for long. But that is the highest you can get till now. So you settle there, and you develop, or you push it some more. So in
Thero, your mic has gone on mute. Sorry to disturb you. Thero, if you can hear me, your mic has gone into mute. Apologies to disturb.
not really, actually. My mic is on.
Now it's on, Thero. Earlier it went off on mute.
Did it disrupt the flow, or can you get
about 40 seconds, maybe 30, 40 seconds?
Oh, when did I stop talking?
I think you were mentioning that you will not stop and you will continue to dig deep. A little past that, Thero. I can't remember the particular word. Sorry.
Yeah. So when you do it, and you would when you practice this more intensely, or when you do it over a period of time, you would be able to understand the blissfulness, or experience the blissfulness. That would be the correct wording. You would be able to experience the blissfulness, and just like the crow that found the land, you would stick onto it, but not for long, and you would know that this is not the end, and I have to get rid of all the sufferings. And again, I have to tell you that you are able to see the post. This is like going towards a post, or winning post. You are ending this race, and there's a winning post at the end, and at the end you can see it from a far away distance, that this is where the winning post is, and this is where I should go. So when you are able to, so while you are running towards the winning post, you can think how much blissful that this winning post might be, and you can, out of the experience you have, the small experience, you can just project the experience towards the end, and see what it would be like. And that is called that creates a samadhi. And there are three types of samadhi: animita samadhi, sunyata samadhi, and apanihita samadhi. And this samadhi, when you have seen apanihita, means you have seen there's nothing blissful. This is a conclusion of wisdom, not Vedana. I have to emphasize that, because if you say there's nothing blissful in this world, then if you see from the point of Vedana, that is totally wrong. But when it comes to the point of wisdom, yes, that is truth. The truth, there's nothing blissful, and that is a delusional blissfulness. So if you see from the that point of view, Vedananupassana, then you would see there's nothing blissful to get to attach to. So you would develop this animita, appanihita samadhi. Panihita, pranihita means something blissful. Something the meaning is actually delicious. So delicious also gives a kind of a very positive, pleasant kind of a feeling. So appanihita means the negative of it. Appanihita samadhi. So this is based on vedana anupassana. So you see the vedana through wisdom, not vedana from the vedana chaitasika or vedana as the vedana from when you refer to vedana, what we are usually talking about is vedana that you feel, the feeling. We are not talking about the feeling, but based on the feeling, we are thinking from a point of wisdom at the vedana and seeing that there's no blissfulness or there's no nature in this world. That is appanihita samadhi. The animita samadhi means when you see that everything is full of vexation, it is only a matter of time and matter of attachment. So as soon as the cause is created, which is attachment, everything is a source for vexation. Everything. So there, it can be the house next door. You are not, the house next door is not a vexatious item for you right now, but all you have to do is make it yours. Buy it tomorrow, and when the hurricane hits and the roof blows off, then it has already become a problem, become your problem, and that has already become a object of vexation. So everything is an object of vexation. It is just only a matter of time, and until you develop attachment, which is the cause of suffering. So as soon as the link is created, cause of suffering is created, attachment is created, you have become what do you call a victim of that object. So when you understand that, you see this samadhi, which is animita samadhi. So nimitti means you focus. Animita means you understand that there's nothing good to focus on. Because if you focus, if you get attached, then the ultimate result would be not nibbana. So animita samadhi. If you see from that point of view, you have in the samadhis, what you do is you think towards the ultimate end, where everything is gone. You are still not achieved that. Through your wisdom, you are going there, and you are thinking about the blissfulness you would reach when you go there. So when you practice that samadhi, it would be easier for you to latch on to the state of relative level of nibbana that you are having right now. That's why it is important. So the third one is sunyata samadhi. Sunyata means when you see the jara nature. So this goes as anicca dukkha anatta. First one is for animitta, is for anicca. Appanihita is for dukkha, and sunyata is for anatta. Anatta is for viparinama dukkha. So in the viparinama dukkha, you know everything finally ends up in jara marana. There's nothing permanent, nothing you can have forever. So whatever you create, just get destroyed then and there. When the causes are being aligned, it is created. Just like if you can remember the example of the flame, how the flame is created out of causes, the effect is born, or the flame is created. When the causes are gone, the flame is gone. And when this process is happening over and over again in a very synchronized and a very methodical manner, you can see a continuous flame. That is what we explained before during our discussions. And if you understand that, how can you get attached, or how can you make plans for something like this which cannot last even for a single second? So sunyata samadhi, sunya means empty. You see the emptiness. Whatever you create, it is just like taking a snapshot of a waterfall. You just cannot have it again. It's just gone. As soon as the snapshot is taken, the water is gone downwards, and that moment would never come back again. So what are you going to get attached to? Because as soon as the moment occurs, it's going down, the water is going down, the attachment always ends up in misery, because you cannot have it. It's gone. It's just like trying to catch air. So if you try to catch air like this, what happens? It slips through your fingers. So there's no satisfaction if you try to do that. So that is the exact feeling. So sunyata, there's emptiness. See it like that, and to go towards the end result and see how blissful, if you would reach that end result out of these three ways. Based on your level of indriya, you would decide which is more suitable for you, and try to see the blissfulness of non-attachment, freedom, peace. These are the closest I can go when I am trying to explain about nibbana. There are no good words in English that can explain the feeling or the idea of nibbana. Even when it comes to Sinhala and Pali, it is out of words, very hard to explain. It is a explanation that should come in your mind through your wisdom, because words, you just are not able to explain it with words. That's the nature of nibbana. So you can just go to the end, and uh, that means you can take the person to the end of anicca dukkha anatta and the explanation and everything. But when it comes to nibbana, there's a small part that you have to understand from your wisdom itself. You can just go around the nibbana, but cannot explain what exactly it is, because if you try to explain it, the real meaning get corrupted, and you would understand something else. So that's the thing. So if I say that it's a place, then it corrupts the idea. If I say that there's nothing, then the word there gives the meaning it's a place. So it's very hard to explain when it comes to the idea of nibbana. So I hope you understand, and you get uh, the question was clarified during this discussion. I hope, Mr. Dileepa, was that a satisfactory answer?
Thank you very much, Thero. I think that was very helpful in explaining it, and further explaining even at the levels of samadhi also. Thero, with that, shall we entertain maybe one question if they have any questions regarding what was explained last? If not, since we've come to 2 hours time, since we've started the session, we'll end with a short anumodana. So we'll give an opportunity for anyone in the group to post any questions. Thero, shall I read out the question or?
Yes.
The question that is being posted is one, sabbe sankara anicca and sabbe sankara dukkha is explained as such, but when it comes to Dhamma, it says sabbe dhamma anatta. Why is this the question being asked? I think that's a very interesting one. Thero, over to you.
Yeah, I think we don't have time for that. That's a long answer.
Shall we then take it for the next
That's
session?
a very good question for the next session.
Yes.
And this is a very good observation that was done. And when you are working with Dhamma, dealing with Dhamma, and trying to understand, these kind of questions are very interesting, and it has a very nice explanation as well.
Exactly. I think it will be a very meaningful conversation to start, or the discussion to start next week. So with that, Thero, then we will park the last question on to next week and move on to a short Anumodana and conclude for the day. So I kindly invite you to conduct Anumodana, Thero. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So today, for 2 hours time, we have discussed two important questions that would help defining our Arya pathway, getting rid of all the problems we have to that would reduce the efficiency of our practice, and through that we were able to increase our understanding, polish our understanding, and this 2 hours time is also we were able to keep our minds in the Arya practice, thinking about Dhamma, talking about Dhamma, and all the Sankara, Kaya Sankara, Vachi Sankara, and Mano Sankara were aligning with the Arya pathway towards throughout these 2 hours. And you know that when Kusala Sankara were created, the resulting power, meritorious power, is also kusala, and this kusala meritorious power, or the meritorious power which would be generating, would help us create causes to end this sansaric journey, because it would develop our wisdom, it would create meritorious power, and meritorious power would generate the perfect environment for us to develop more wisdom, ultimately completing our goal of nibbana. So with all the meritorious power which we have generated today, and all the sessions we had so far, and all the throughout the samsara, all the throughout the meritorious deeds that we have done throughout the samsara, may agglomerate together, and may everyone be able to comprehend the reality of this world, ultimately attaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Accept this blessing with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And also, in this special occasion, let us remind all the people who helped us throughout this sansaric journey to achieve this great achievement. And to in this moment, let us remind all the parents we had during the sansari journey, and our teachers, and especially our dead relations who helped us in this lifetime and also in the previous lives, and people who helped us in various ways, people who were hurted and harmed by us without knowing what is right and what is wrong. We might have acted upon raga, dvesha, and moha, and created various kinds of unethical deeds, and because of that, we might have created various kinds of problems and various kinds of imbalances as we discussed during the discussion, and many people might have got hurted and harmed by our actions. Let us remind all of them as well in this special occasion, and also the people who helped us to have these kinds of great discussions, people who created these infrastructures, and people who created these platforms and internet connections and devices that we use to have to deliver these Dhamma talks. So all of them also will be remembered at this special occasion, and also the especially all the deities in all the 6 realms of gods, 20 parents of Brahma, and also all the sentient beings in this universe would be reminded at this special occasion. And if they and let us transfer this meritorious power to them, and may they be happy about these meritorious deeds. May they get delighted in happy moods, and may they develop infinite amounts of meritorious power through these great meritorious being happy about these great meritorious deeds. If they are in miserable places, may they refrain from doing sins, may they replace those sins with meritorious deeds, and may they lead happy lives, ultimately understanding the reality of the world, attaining the supreme bliss of nibbana. With this great thought in mind, transfer this meritorious power to them with a sadhukar.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So with this blessing, I would be ending the discussion today. And so Abhivadana Silis Nichang Vadapchaino Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvanno Sukhambalang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Meva Chato Nibbana Sampatti Minate Samichatu Swapate Nibbana Paramasuken Sukittara Vetva. May everyone attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Theruvan Saranai.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Bhante, for Reverend Bhante, for the Dhamma discussion, and all for those who have posted questions, as well as had the patience to be with us and to come on time to start this important Dhamma discussion. With that, yes, Thero.
I would like to add something. So the question is posted here in the chat. If you could place the same question onto our WhatsApp group, or put it somewhere, or me personally, that would be great, because that then we can have the discussion, and we would be it would be easier for us to go through the question again.
Yes, Thero, I've already posted it to the WhatsApp group. I will recheck in case if it's not there. Thank you very much for the kind suggestion. With that, we end today's discussion. Thank you very much to all those who have put questions forward, either in the group or directly to Thero, and for being here with us today. I will shortly upload both the audio and the video as usual. Theruvan Saranai to all. Theruvan Saranai, Prahamdani.
Theruvan Saranai, everyone.
Theruvan Saranai.